Hello, Lightkeeper. I hope all is well. So, for today's Lighthouse letter, I'm going to start with this quick story in which once upon a time I was a DJ, and after years of DJing in the loudest clubs, and now that I think about it, I don't know why I didn't practice safe hearing. um, but I ended up getting tinnitus in my right ear, and I've had it for pretty much most of my adult life. And for the most part, and today, it has become something that I don't notice. But in the beginning, it was pretty brutal. And sometimes, if the weather was stormy or temperature change, sometimes the tinnitus would get so bad, I would feel like I wanted to slam my head against the wall. And so, trying to look for comfort and for relief, I ended up going to my doctor, and I relented and allowed him to prescribe me gabapentin. Now, another story time, I'll share this, but I don't take medicine, and so this was obviously a really serious time that was going on back then. And I took it, and first night, the gabapentin calmed all the nerves in this ear, and I heard absolutely nothing. Now, you would have thought that I would have had the best sleep of my life, and I will say that only lasted for maybe 5 minutes because then all of a sudden I was able to actually hear the thoughts. And for whatever reason, up until then, the tinnitus had really dampened just the sounds of the ego, the stories that we tell ourselves. But in that silence, my brain started moving through all the things I was supposed to do, the things I shouldn't have done, and went back into stories, and the quietness was just drowning me. And basically, that was the first and the last night that I took gabapentin. And again, as I said, I'm pretty much today, I don't even notice it. And it becomes, for me, comforting now to have that rhythm and hum. But I was acutely aware that night of just sometimes how heavy silence can be. And so that's where we're going to open up with today's letter, in which that sometimes quiet isn't peaceful. Sometimes it presses and it's thick and it's uncomfortable like a fog, and it makes it hard to see yourself clearly. Sometimes we think that the silence is supposed to provide peace and serenity, and sometimes it does. Most times it does. But sometimes, and maybe you felt it too, those moments where everything just seems to slow down instead of you. And instead of you resting, you're restless. You have thoughts going on as to playing, what happened during the day, or what I call future tripping, what is going to happen tomorrow, a year from now, 5 years from now. And those thoughts are loud, and the silence feels less like a sanctuary, and it feels more like the spotlight on all the things that you think, or that the ego or the mind is telling you that you're not doing well enough. And so if you're in that space, today I just want you to know that you're not doing it wrong. Not all quiet is clarity. Again, many times it is, most times it is, but sometimes the quiet brings up the messy in between, the part where the dust hasn't settled yet, and where the heart is still sorting out what to feel while the mind is trying to figure out what to say and what to make out of things. And so I just want you to know that it doesn't mean that you're lost, and it doesn't mean that you're not doing something right, especially if you're doing meditation and you just hear, you have all these thoughts that just kind of pop up like what I call whack-a-moles. It just means that you're in a process. And so you can acknowledge it and say, I see you, I acknowledge you, and just let it float. So if today you feel like you're not blooming, and if you're not expanding, and you're not full of light, that's okay. This part is still sacred, and this part is still yours. Let the stillness hold you, even if it's awkward, even if you want to run from it. You don't have to fill the space. You don't have to perform. Just be there and breathe. My best friend always tells me every time I'm going through something, just breathe. When you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling anxiety, you're feeling stress, just breathe through it and acknowledge what you're feeling, acknowledge what you're thinking, and just let it float. Let it sit, let it marinate, let it do all the things it has to do. And when it's ready, it will open itself up to you, and clarity will then present itself to you. This process isn't always graceful. As I said, it's messy. As I said, it's on its own time. And so sometimes we have to sit with it. And sometimes that means we're sitting in one spot for a very long time and just giving ourselves what we need just to make it moment by moment and to support ourselves in any way we can. Sometimes it means taking a walk. Sometimes it means turning off all electronics or not speaking to other people. Just being with yourself. And so know that if this is where you're at and the silence feels loud, know that you're not alone. And I'm sure many people are nodding their head and saying, I have felt that too. Come back to yourself gently. You don't have to rush the return. You don't have to have it all figured out. Everything will unfold as it's supposed to. And just know that I'm always in your corner and holding your hand through all of it. So I just wanted to share that story and just let you know that sometimes the quiet will come to us, and it will be like a bull in a china shop, just creating havoc everywhere. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes not. But give it space, give it time, and those thoughts, the feelings, emotions, anything that is looking to come up and present itself, well, just give it the space it needs. So until next time, I hope that you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you again, Lightkeeper.